Alright, we're back in the courtroom.
So, what do you think, Mr. Wright?
I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, wait, what?
The victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested in each of the crime scenes.
Lana!
Good morning, Mr. Wright.
Why are you here? Go to jail.
I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed.
I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning.
We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain.
A plea bargain? What do you mean by that?
We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't see capital punishment. That's what I mean, Nima.
But Lana, don't tell me you...
Much to my regret, I am as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Semen. Blood-stained fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright.
February 24th, 10 a.m. We back. We back in here. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is...
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify.
It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yeah, the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time.
But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared.
Yes, and the body eventually reappeared at the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car.
Why are you allowed to talk?
Wow, this is one messed up trial.
One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, I'll present evidence related to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself.
Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well, let the trial resume. Or, I guess, begin, because fucking Edgeworth still hasn't said he's ready. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. You have a witness?
For its first witness, the prosecution calls...
Why is there a big lead up?
The suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go.
Did you have to make it that dramatic? Order of the court. Oh god.
Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Yes, sir! I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir! My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir!
Alice Yabusame.
So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir! I'm the one who did it! I'll never kill anyone again, sir! You've got to believe me, sir! Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is, sir, I'm what you would call part of the younger generation, sir! A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend! Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir!
Officer Meekins.
Yes, sir?
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order.
Yes, sir, as you wish! After all, I'm part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir!
You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
Oh, God. Crime report, sir! Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake. Wow, what a fucking scumbag. Put this guy behind bars, he did it. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they do unto you! That's the Meekins family motto, sir. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir! He knocked me upside the head, sir! Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta press him on stuff here. This is, no contradictions. Ask him who the fuck he's all, though. So looking at this, I'm assuming this is Meekins then. If he went in after him. Like, where was he? It's weird, like, did he not, was he on the guard station? How did he not know someone go past? I don't know, I'll press. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir! I'm in charge of hiring new recruits, sir! Oh, God. Yikes. Now there's a scary thought. There's a scary thought. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir! The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir! Don't show it to me in a black void. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very, important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? Okay, I spotted a sus man on the security screen rushing through. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct? Precisely, sir! I have one right here around my neck! So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? I mean, it should be this one. There it is! I found it! It's the one right here! Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir! It's 4989596! That's my number, sir! I see. Huh? But the number 4989596. It's shown as being used twice! Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room, and the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Data added to ID card record. Interesting. Are we ever going to find out who 777420 is? It's got to be, fucking Gant, right? I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir! I was suddenly attacked! So you were attacked? Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir! A knife! Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was! You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. Phoenix! That's when I reacted, sir! I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him! That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked! I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life, and I did it! What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. Oh, God. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a mad. See. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then, the next thing I knew... Yes? He punched me right in my face, sir! After that, I passed out, until another officer smacked me awake.
About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious!
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too! I woke up crying tears of pain!
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. Jesus Christ, Judge.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir!
Your mission?
Yes, sir! The Blue Badger, sir! I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand!
Well, we can all rest easy now.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point.
Yes, Officer Meekins? With regard to that, sir, take a look at this! It was sent to my jail cell! Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir!
The chief delivered it?
What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir! That's absolutely right, sir! A videotape, sir! It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room!
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. I was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
It looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder? Just what are we getting ourselves into?
I'm interested to see this. What the fuck's gonna happen here? Oh, God! This is fucked up! That's amazing! Fucking, of course, this like creepy cunt is here. Oh, 3D models? Oh, that's so good. Oh, he's frozen. But the glove fell out. Oh, there he goes! They're just fucking furiously making out when it comes back to them. Oh my god. I love this shit. I love how unsettling it is. God, that's really the only audio? Oh, was this sticking out? Was that sticking out the first time? I don't think it was. Yeah, we're in the same boat here, Edgeworth. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the fuck was that wriggling piece of plywood? Sir, that's the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir! It's the Blue Badger, sir! Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video adds to the court record. Can I watch that again? Yes, well, anyway. Hold on. Will it let me watch it again? There's no way. I can check it? Okay. Oh. Hold on. I just want to wait for one rotation. I want to see if I can see this. Does this locker have anything sticking out when it goes back? Go on, go back. Go on. It's a lot less scary with the fucking music not playing. Is it? Oh, look at that. Okay, interesting. So that's it, and we know fucking dude was in the room. Marshall, we know Marshall was in the room. At that time. This tape seems to prove what the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir! As you wish, sir! Mystery Man! His face can't be clearly seen in the video, But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. I mean, press him on everything. I want to hear him talk.
His face can't clearly be seen in the video.
Press. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife?
Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter.
The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not?
More to the point, you were the person who fought him, aren't you? Oh, yes, sir, but I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see.
Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him! I bet my badge on it! There's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir.
But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it.
Oh, why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Meekins! Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir!
You claimed the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you're positive it was him.
I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do.
About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir! I myself tried all the kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir! And this too! The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir!
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir.
For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint?
Not necessarily. So it must be him! No one else could have unlocked it!
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face!
Sir! If I may say something, sir!
Please do. After all, you were the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir! My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir!
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. I can.
Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
Is there a problem with the security video? Yep. Regarding the video contained in this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Yes, it does. Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Phoenix Wright, will you marry me? Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defense point out to us the alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out.
I mean, why does anyone need to propose that? Obviously, like, very well, proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times! I can't stand watching this video!
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
That's a great question. Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates this man may not be Detective Goodman? Oh my god, this fucking creepy bastard cut out. That's fucking terrifying, dude! Fucking Five Nights at, whatever his name is, Blue Badgers. Fast forward, please. Oh, the music doesn't even speed up. I mean, it might be a little bit less unsettling if that was the case. Just stabs him in the face. So there's the music from this thing comes through, but the music of him being murdered, it doesn't. Alright, password. Walks away from his corpse. And there. Zoom and enhance, Your Honor.
The thing that's strange about this video
has got to be this! Yes, that is strange. Something certainly seems unnatural about that. What could it mean?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wright, but you seem to have forgotten the point of this exercise. The point? What you're looking for is one thing and one thing only. Something that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have that evidence. Whew, I almost walked right into the defense's trap. I'll place him under arrest, sir!
Rats, I need to slow down and tackle these things one piece at a time. Now what do I do?
Present evidence. What? Can you see the bloody handprint? Very well. Let's try this again.
Just remember one thing, Mr. Wright. Every time you point your finger, someone gets hurt. Says the one pointing his finger at us.
I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us the contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
No, it's the second time. Please don't play too many times. Guys are watching this video. Is there perhaps a bloody handprint visible? Yeah, where does the bloody handprint come from on the thing here? Okay, I want to fast forward. Do. Like who? Like the chief of police is a fucking psychopath for making this thing. All right. Okay. Fast forward. Is there a handprint? Nope. I mean, that's it. That's the only thing that could be.
The thing that's strange about this video would have to be, this?
Hold on a second. I need to use my eye drops. Well, I don't get it. Okay. Now what do we return to cross-examination, I guess? Because that's everything.
It seems I've been taking the wrong approach.
Now then, the defense may resume its cross-examination, assuming the witness is still willing to continue. That is, Officer Meekins. Yes, sir! It's my duty as a police officer to help the lost, sir!
Great. Now they think I'm lost. His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's one, I mean, he opened the locker, which card technically, the locker opened and couldn't eventually lock it, but it must be him, no one else could have locked it.
Can I object with this? I don't know why it won't let me show that. Wait. You know what? Hold on. Can I see the video again? Does this let me see the video again? Because that is weird, right? But I think if I can see that if the light is on before the guy walks over to it, then I know that it was already unlocked. And he didn't need the fingerprint. So look for the light, see if it's on.
thing that's strange about this video has got to be this! Officer Meekins.
Sir! Do you mean me, sir?
As I understand it, the locker apparatus works like this. Why is the music playing? Fucking turn it off! When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint, if it's a match. Ah! The light turns on and the lock is released. Is this Babes in uniform or is this Gumshoe's fucking wife?
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. That thing right there is seriously wrong. Oh my god, it's so slow. Uh-huh.
Yup.
There he goes, walking by in slow motion. Yeah. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker. Let's rewind to a little earlier. Oh, Jesus Christ. Can we not just pause then, Phoenix? Go on, man. Ugh. Everyone in court is just groaning and having to fucking watch this slowly go by with this music blaring over the speakers. Yeah. Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Ah! Oh, you're wearing socks now. I just noticed.
Order! Order! What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Yeah, I mean, someone could have just taped, like, the sensor on the inside. Me, Your Honor?
Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? In fucking broad air quotes. Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor? Something jammed the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Oh, the piece of fabric. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Time to watch it again.
Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please.
You just get caught off by the fucking creepypasta. Alright, fast forward. So there's no fabric hanging out there, right? Correct. So I'll just skip to... It's weird that you stop here. The glove, maybe? Wait. Aha! Zoom in and heads. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Yes. Please watch. I'm fucking trying not to fall asleep at the same time. Your Honor!
What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir!
It's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll at great distances when I open my own door, sir. We can't be sure that that item was completely inside the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Why did you have to get stuck on that word? As you can see, Your Honor, the culprit inserted his cock between the edge of the door and the sensor, and then jammed it inside. Cock and ball torture, Phoenix. Of course you'd know. Why do I have to watch this every time? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene,
There just might have been something that fits the description.
how is it not so fucking obvious what that white thing is? You can see it's a glove.
But sir, by insulator do you mean... I think I finally got this figured out.
Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What is this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? I mean, it's obviously a glove. What is wrong with you people?
I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that that was in the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says Asal 911. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case! The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir! It would appear so, sir! Order! 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 So we are to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir! Me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh! You mean that, sir? Of course, sir!
Is this a joke? It certainly feels like it, Phoenix.
Very well, begin your testimony.
What are you hiding? Mystery man.
2.
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it.
I mean, we know that fucking cowboy was at this place and at the scene of the crime. The actual crime.
At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card. An ID card record? I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor.
I want to know who this is.
The ID used at 514 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, hmm? Yes, without a doubt this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleaned up by noon.
Right, I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination.
Mr.
Mantio? There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir.
So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir! Solid as stone, sir! If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir!
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second.
Everyone's just openly insulting this guy. This poor bastard.
To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card.
Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards?
Yes, sir! This card right next to my cup, sir! I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me!
Maybe I should just leave this one alone. Oh my god, I love this guy. At any rate, each police officer only has one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
I mean, we have the killer already. First yawn of the night.
When an ID card is used, there's a record of it.
Oh, oops, I meant to press.
Press!
Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here.
Is this really time to bow? So it is, Your Honor.
Not that prosecutor again!
Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he can ID evidence.
Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer? Shh! Shut the fuck up! Don't stare at him!
You've got the wrong color, kid.
It would seem
They could just be talking about the police officer wearing blue who's on the fucking witness stand and said he's a murderer.
the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him.
What? What are you talking about?
At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card! Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you. Yes, sir! He didn't show me any ID card, sir! Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't have been a reason to draw a knife. Maybe he just panicked? Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out. Mr. Wright, what do you think? I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this. You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show what we got.
Look, found at prosecutor's office crime scene. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. Maybe the contradiction is the fact that I have the card here? Hold on. You did say you cleaned out stuff around noon, so why is none of the, why is none of that on here? I wonder. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, so... Okay, it's evidence. However, enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. Oh! Time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card. His card. Okay, so I'll present the card itself and hope that's an objection. Ah! Oops. Erection! I mean, wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir! I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene, and I kept it on me instead of submitting it to police. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office! Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. A lost item report? I see. It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out his report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? Does it say it has 5'9" on it? 5'8". Hold on. I could have just fucked up the number and scribbled it out. Yeah, ID. Does he just not remember his ID because he didn't have his card on him? Okay, that makes sense. I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying this card. Order! So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought, dumbass. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. I love you. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime,
The man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. Well, one is that you can't see his beard here. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Why is that camera angle so shit? Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well. It seems you've finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means the murder did not take place. At the police department on 5/15 of the day of the crime. Oh, jump for that. So the real crime can only take place at one location. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness. Observe the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Trustworthy witness. Do you want to run that one over in your head real quick, Edgeworth? Trustworthy witness? You mean the woman who lied multiple times on stand? I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning.
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Object! One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. Why is everyone walking into each other's traps today? What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. And? Go on? Anything more to say, Phoenix? Are you just stopping in the middle of your sentence? And you want to follow up on that, or? No? Okay. Yeah, we'll just watch this video, complete silence. Yep. Okay, and it's done now. However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Ectoplasm. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, do you mean... How can you read my mind? Stop! Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
Oh? Whom do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. You do not get a choice, Edgeworth. Fuck off.
Very well then. Mr. Wright, this person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name?
Really? I have to choose? Dick gumshit. What do you mean? Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room, I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Oh god. Oh no. Oh, this is the fucking V3 fish game all over again. I'm going insane. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
The court is now in recess. Good show. February 24th, 11:32 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2.
There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright?
Huh? Oh, what do you mean?
You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out.
I haven't figured anything out.
Lana, you're the one who already know. You're the one who knows everything.
Ima.
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
No, nothing at all.
Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later.
Wait! Detective Gumshoe! What is it?
You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while on duty? And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey! 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 I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky!
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Oh! You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my prison circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
Can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
Miss Sky was a witness? SL9 incident files were received from Lana Sky. So this is like, it looks more and more like this is fucking Jake Marshall murdered him and fucking lunch lady covered it up.
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Ima? But why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident. Is that...
Well, I'm assuming their mother got murdered or something.
That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. Joe Dark. Good lord. Joe Dark. The most evil individual ever.
My name's Joe Dark. I'm a serial killer.
The Joe Dark? No. No, Lana! It's over with. No! Eva, wait! She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Kent, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Nima. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file.
Good lord, man. What the hell? Seriously, what the hell? I mean, I'm probably gonna end another video here because, you know, that's tradition. It's weird because, like, I already said, like, the goodbyes during this session, but I have to say another round of them now for y'all people watching the next video, which is this video, actually. But thanks for watching, and remember, you know, there's a link to my Discord in the description if you're watching my videos and you haven't come talk to me. Come talk to me, it's cool. Also, please leave a like and subscribe and comment. Thank you, I love you, goodbye. I'm fucking the worst at outros, dude. Get me out of here.